Okay, so a couple things you can do today. You can make your little miniature menu. I've got these small little menu papers. Use as many as you think you need if you mess up. And I have the really fine point markers. And just go ahead and draw your couple items on there. Pretty self-explanatory. You can put their price. You can look up how to draw these things on the computer if you want. If you get it the way that you like it, and I haven't decided 100%, so I'm not going to glue mine yet, but you can take just either the tacky or the Elmer's glue and glue it right on here. Remember, that's going to be a door in the front, so probably your menu is going to go over here. So that's one thing you can do today. Your little shelf. I was toying around with whether or not I wanted paper to go on the shelf like that. That's what I had done the other day. But then after I painted my interior purple, I couldn't find a purple that matched, and I really thought that was a pretty color. So I decided that I wanted it to match, and I painted it, and I'm gonna put this in. So if you want paint, if you're trying for a really specific color, wait for me and we'll go ahead and paint this together. But if you want to just go ahead and use a piece of paper, just make sure that it fits. If it's too big, you're just going to trace and cut off the extra. Then when you have it sized correctly, you can glue that on like this, and you can take your tacky glue stuff and glue that right into here like you saw the other day. And I'm not doing mine quite yet because mine's still, I'm deciding on some things, but just to show you, if you're ready for that, go ahead and do it. I would not glue the shelf in until your interior of your window's painted. So if it isn't, you can make the shelf, put it in the drying rack, and then wait for that part. A couple other things you could work on is signs for the top. So like that's a little food shape sign. This one Brinley did the other day. A sign like this. One like this is pretty easy. This is not too hard either. But the secret is basically, I'm out of paper here. So figure out your size. If that's way too big, determine how big you want it. Cut that down. Then I'm going to fold this in half like this. Okay. Give it a nice crease. And to get it to stand up, you're gonna need these little tabs on the bottom. That's where the glue goes. So you go ahead and fold this over just a little bit. Fold this over a little bit. Check it out. Mine's a little bit unstraight, so I'm gonna fix it. And then easy peasy lemon squeezy, you could draw pictures of your food or a logo for your business. And if you're ready for it, take your tacky glue, go ahead and put that right on like this. It could go on today if this paint job on top is done. To get something that looks like a food shape, it's a similar concept. You're first gonna wanna fold. So like I did before, I fold in half. I fold the little tabs on the bottom like this. And then I'm gonna draw my food, and the biggest thing is just that things touch up on the fold so that when I cut it, there's something that is holding this together. So let's say that I wanted to do, I'm so indecisive today. Let's say I wanted to do a donut. And so on here, I'm gonna make this circle of the donut touch the top and the bottom, okay? The hole in the middle of the donut. And then I'm going to put the frosting on. Depending on what you're doing, there's some of these markers in a red container back by the 5th grade shelf that are not quite as dried out, so that might be helpful. These are great, they're newer, but they're also so tiny that sometimes it takes a really long time to color. I'll put my sprinkles on. And maybe I just want the food, or maybe like there's, you know, a word on either side or something. So sprinkles, and then I'm gonna color the frosting around it. French fries, whatever you want this thing to be on the top. It could be anything, as long as it's touching the fold is the most important part. So I've got that colored. Going to do this donut part here. A little bit fast for the sake of the video, but you go ahead and slow down so it's neat. Hopefully you can find some markers that are not all dried out. If it's dried out like this one, go ahead and throw it in the trash. It's not gonna look so good. And then the biggest thing for this would be that when you cut it, I don't cut right there on the fold because that is what's holding it together. So I cut, oop, and then cut, and you can see that the fold is still on there. The tabs are still on there. I would make my donut or my food on each side. And then if you like it, put the glue on right here, glue it up at the top. Okay, so just make sure you're happy with whatever you make before it's attached. And in the video, there was also, that one sample had like an arrow. So if you wanted an arrow pointing to your place, you know, you could visualize what that's gonna look like. Yours, I think, was kind of bent or something. So that one, the sample had an arrow. Cut this out. Definitely flip over your pencil so it doesn't look yucky. And depending on where you want this to be, if you're gonna have an awning, the thing that sticks out like this, I have to be careful about where exactly this goes. But we could put some cardboard behind here and we could jut this out a little bit. So you could at least make your pieces, and then some of this I can do with you tomorrow.